Two drunk assholes talking about whatever comes to mind. We present Filler with Jack Fike and Rob Harper. Filler is Jack and my insane rambling.
In this episode of Filler, we finally saw Star Wars. I know, we just missed it. And we talk about that and our theories about Darth Leia.
Please do note that we are extremely drunk during these recordings, so if we do sound like unintelligent fools, just forgive us.
I don't remember talking about crime shows.
You did. You talked at length about crime shows because you love your crime shows.
I haven't watched crime shows since, but...
Well, we did burn ourselves out that weekend. We watched a lot on New Year's. I've never watched that much TV before or since, like actual on-air television.
I don't think I've ever sat and just actively watched that much
TV. It was crazy.
Like, I've marathoned, like, New Year's days, there used to be marathons of, once it was Band of Brothers, and I know I've sat and marathoned shows, but that was just on air, whatever was on, that was just indulging in laziness, which is not something I can often do, but it was just, we were rubbing laziness about our bodies seductively, just basking in it, in the stench of just doing nothing but watching unsolved mysteries.
It was too much. It was too much. But yeah, we got through it. We survived.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened. That no one lost a foot or contracted AIDS.
No, it was just. It's, when you're like, man, we should have done something. You feel like afterwards it's like, yeah, it wasn't bad, but we just wasted our lives.
But sometimes you got to recharge the batteries. You can't always be doing something.
I guess so.
It'd been nice maybe if we could have gotten some stuff recorded, but we should have. We should have gotten something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was just...
But
it was the sheer amount of us watching terrible... We should have recorded us watching that award show, because that would have been hilarious.
iHeartRadio, yeah, we were having a good time then. But there was so much food, so much alcohol, and just so much just not having to do anything that it just became... It was indulgent.
Yeah. Oh, well. One time a year is not bad.
So you better go watch your Flash.
Wash my Flash?
Watch your Flash.
I'm gonna go wash my Flash. I gotta wash my other shows today too. Expanse is on right now. Oh, it just ended. You're gonna have to find it to watch it. Do you get that channel? No, it's on Space, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll stream it in a couple days if...
Yeah.
I don't know, I started watching X-Files because Janet wanted to watch it, so I've watched the first 2 episodes, and having not really been a fan, I wasn't big on the show originally, so...
Yeah, I fell out of love with that show pretty quick.
But it's all right. But they've got it on against Supergirl and Gotham.
Oh yeah.
So like, who thought that was a good idea? And then after it is another. It's Vertigo's Lucifer.
I heard that was really bad. It's nothing to do with the comic book. I damn you for even mentioning it was related to the comic book. It's not even close. It has nothing to do with the comic book, other than it has Lucifer in it. And he's not even the same character.
I have no idea. I'm just saying like that.
I know. Maybe all the genre shows on against each other.
It's a chucker block night of... Now...
I think they realize that people don't watch it live anymore. Not those kind of people. If it was like, old people shows, they'd make sure they counter program. But now it's just like, you're going to watch all these shows, you're just going to download them, or you're going to watch them on Hulu or whatever,
Yeah.
They realize that people don't watch them live. Many, especially people who are into genre shows, usually it's younger people, right?
And never in my lifetime has there been a time where I said, okay, Monday I'll watch, Tuesday I'll watch, Wednesday. Like every day I could sit down and watch.
Spread things out.
Because you could go Gotham on Monday, Flash Tuesday, Arrow Wednesday, Legends of Tomorrow Thursday, Friday I have no idea if I'm...
Oh, like actually on?
Yeah, where you
Fridays is QI is on Fridays.
I mean, like, just sit down at my television and turn it on. Now,
Yeah.
I
I don't
only
think Sundays or Mondays I don't have anything to watch. But there's enough shows, not to mention Netflix, and you can watch Amazon Prime.
I could watch Netflix, all those things, but I'm just saying, like, on the air, 8 o'clock, turn on the television and watch something that's decent. That interests me. That's crazy. To me, that's just crazy.
It is a golden age for television.
Especially Legends of Tomorrow. And plus there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I don't watch. Agent Carter, I don't watch. All these other ones that, like, could be, if it wasn't such a saturated market, that I would probably love to have watched.
Yeah,
now I'm
for
like,
sure.
I can't even be arsed to catch up on Agent Carter. It's only been 3 episodes.
That's right. You wouldn't like it anyways.
No, I don't think I would. I bailed on the first season. Just not my dealio. But to expand on that, there are shows that I can watch streaming that, like Expanse. I'm enjoying Expanse. It's a slow burn kind of
And it's short. There's only two more episodes, I think.
For this season?
No, there's how many episodes of Expanse? Let me check. I think it's only 10. Yeah, 10 episodes. There is 3 more Candice Nights.
Episodes.
Yeah, so that's why it's good.
And that it would be a very entertaining season that created a good start for a long running, a good long show. If they can keep the quality up, keep everything where it is right now, the writing's good, cinematography, everything's decent, and it's building up to something. You can see it's coming together.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on.
And who knows? Maybe what was the other one that there's another show that I was giving a shot to.
New one?
Yeah,
you love your elf porn.
Elf porn?
Shannara Chronicles or whatever?
Shannara Chronicles, yeah. Unfortunately, they released on the streaming site. They had the first one, they had the third one, and they had the 5th one or something. So I watched the first one. It was pretty decent, but I watched the third one, and I was like, okay, I've missed a lot. And that's crazy that one episode makes a difference. But I was like, what the hell is happening? So I've got 2 episodes under my belt, and I may or may not ever revisit it.
Yeah. It just, there's too much other good stuff to watch. I think that's a show that you watch when Game of Thrones isn't on. You need some fantasy.
It might be one that the problem with streaming is as soon as they find out that they find the sites, they take them down, right? So
that's why you download them, man.
So longevity isn't an option for the sites I go to. Within the next few days, some people don't care; they'll leave them up there, like no one's. But some other shows, like if I want to start watching it, I'm going to start from the beginning. It's 3 seasons in. Let me just, if I'm painting miniatures or if I'm cleaning the house or doing whatever, I'll just put it on. Well, no, they've already demanded it be taken down. The rightful owners, yeah. But you'll enjoy Flash. And the discussions we had about Flash and our problems with certain people were remedied in spades tonight.
I don't want to know what that means.
You will.
You will.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that Star Wars?
How about that Star Wars? I've been able to now I can lumber back through the internet like a bull in a china shop without,
No, I gave up on that after December, pretty much. I already knew most of the stuff.
I knew quite a lot too, but I just didn't know exactly. Like now I can start watching videos about fan
theories or
stuff,
or behind. Like I watch all those shows where it's like things you might have missed in background stuff or
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm free to do that now that I've seen it. I enjoyed the movie. It is no Phantom Menace by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a good reboot.
Yeah, instead of leaving disappointed and not even being able to fathom how disappointed I was. Like at this point, I knew it was a piece of shit. That movie was a piece of shit. Even like a week later, you knew it was, but it was so like, okay, well, it's done, it's over. They've ruined it. There's no way they're gonna make two more.
You ruined it.
The Force Awakens has a whole different feel. It was enjoyable and beloved, and people are,
There's always naysayers, but generally,
people love it. But I think it's because there's a lot of people who don't want to open their hearts and let the sun shine in. They got to feel like they got to be jaded to create a crystalline, like a chrysalis of hate around them, so that they're not hurt.
Yeah, or I guess you expect too much, I guess. But when you expect too much, you get the Phantom Menace.
I wasn't expecting anything. The Phantom Menace...
No, but I'm saying that people are complaining expected too much.
I think people would have been happy with a passable movie for Phantom Menace.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this one, people expected a lot, but it's like, no, he did exactly what he should have done. He kept it really close to the original series, and just introduced new characters, and then we'll see where it goes from here. It's the next one I'm really interested in, because that's going to show if he's just if all the people behind it are just rehashing the old ones, or are they going to go and find some new direction to go? That's what I'm interested in. Because if the next one's just Empire, that would be stupid, right? I don't think they could do that, but
they got to get JJ as far away from any
writing.
Involvement.
He's going to be still executive producing, I think, or producing.
Well, then they better bring in some heavy hitters like Orsi and Lindelof and some real good punch-up guys and make a real good quality written movie.
Kasdan was writing it, and I think Rian Johnson's directing it, right? The guy who did Looper and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, Kasdan.
Yeah, like he was never the problem with the original series. The problem with him was that he wasn't diplomatic enough with Lucas and was like, "You're an idiot," and then Lucas never brought him back for Return.
That's the thing. He was
too honest.
He wasn't a yes man. He wanted certain things, and unfortunately, the power differential means that he lost out, and then everyone, the movie-going public,
we all lost out. Yeah. Because then we got Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi was the prequel to the prequels. You could see where it was going at that point, and it just continued on.
I'm still a fan of Jedi. I watched that.
Yeah, it's Ewoks is the issue. Ewoks are just Jar Jar Binks.
Right from like him walking into the.
Oh, the beginning part's great. It's when the Ewoks come into it. Like him and Jabba. Jabba parts are all great. It's the second half that's the problem. And it's not the only part I don't like is Ewoks. Imagine if that movie was Wookiees instead of Ewoks. That movie would have been awesome. It was, it is the third or fourth best movie of the trilogy, but it's definitely not what it could be. If they were Wookiees, it might have been up there with Empire.
It could have been a little bit grittier.
That's what I'm saying. Lucas by then realized that, hey, I can sell toys to kids. That's where the money is. So he's like, fuck being gritty. Fuck, you're like, which is, you can't blame the guy. He made billions of dollars.
You are well aware of my thoughts on Ewoks and how they are the bravest and noblest warriors portrayed in the Star Wars universe.
They're cannibals. They're cannibals who are super good at everything, can drive speeder bikes.
I don't think super good at it means screaming through the forest. I don't remember seeing an Ewok.
He turned on the machine. Did you see all the buttons he had to push to turn that machine on?
Yeah, but then did you just see him, when he did eventually accidentally turn it on, go screaming, shrieking, terrified? They had to hose down the seat of that speeder bike afterwards. I guarantee it.
He flew it better than most scouters, the troopers. He never hit a tree until, he eventually hit a tree. But did he hit a log? What did he hit? I think it was a log.
That doesn't
he lived.
sound. That doesn't sound like he's a competent driver. No, they are a brave and noble creature, and
never liked Ewoks. Why do you like Ewoks?
Because
it's because you like people who flay people alive. The Ewoks would have eaten Han and Luke. They had them on spits.
Oh yeah. I understand that. It's a thing where you look and go, oh, it's cute and it's adorbs, but they are animals, and they were brave. They went against the Empire with sticks.
Only because
rocks.
Wicket wanted to get it on with Leia.
They lost. They died.
It's that cry. Yeah, it's that one Ewok that they cried over, right? Is that what you're meant to the good guys?
What other hero do you know of that died valiantly in the entire Star Wars universe?
Biggs Darklighter. Porkins died for your sins, Jack.
Really? You're gonna go with I got someone on my tail. Boom. Those are the people you're gonna put up there with someone who picks up a stone hatchet and goes, okay, I'm gonna attack an AT-AT. Come on.
No. They were terrible. Wookiees. Imagine if they were Wookiees. That's all I'm saying. Great movie. Oh well. It is Star Wars, but it's no prequels.
Yeah, and no, and this latest, the Force Awakens, had depth to it. The characters were well written. The directing and cinematography were phenomenal. At times, like high end.
Yeah, the directing I was really impressed with.
Everything was good, but there was times it went from good to thoroughly impressive.
The only thing I'd say that negative with it is a little too much of the wink, wink. Hey, look, this is us calling back to Star Wars. Like, you know, there's just it kept happening.
Not nearly as much as I was led to believe by all the crying and bitching and moaning and tearing and rendering of clothing.
Yeah, I just found it was just like, you know, okay, we get it. Like him turning on the chessboard or finding the droid that Luke fights on. A lot of it's in the what's it called? In the Falcon, I guess, but still, yeah. I don't know. A lot of people also complain that all the coincidences, but when you're dealing with a magic force, you can't rule out the force was directing it all, right? There is no coincidence.
It's well established that there's a force that is in the universe. So to say like, whoa, where did that come from? Why would that happen?
Yeah. What's the chance of them landing this close to this? Well, yeah, the Force made it happen. That's what happened.
And some of I've heard some of the complaints. How did Finn meet Rey? Why would they meet? And it's like, okay, well, just because they showed him beforehand doesn't mean it was predestined. Like showing the characters that eventually meet doesn't make it a coincidence when they.
Yeah.
If they didn't meet,
I find that annoying when people say that. Yep.
If they didn't meet in this story, they wouldn't have shown either of the two. They would have shown whoever she did meet.
There could be like hundreds of people that they could have, it could have been, but it's just, this is the two people that did meet. Yeah.
There was a planet full of people down there, and you didn't see them, any part of their story. You know why? Because they never eventually met. It's not a coincidence.
But her finding BB-8's a coincidence. Like a coincidence.
Particular?
What's that?
No. If she just turns out to be some random person, then no, there's no coincidence there at all. That's just what happened.
No, but because she found BB-8 and then coincidentally Finn found her, that's two things that happened. So that is coincidence. It's not just, But I'll still say it's the Force.
Well, they wouldn't necessarily have met if BB-8 didn't recognize him. Well, his jacket anyways.
Yeah,
the only real coincidence is if she ends up being Luke's daughter or something like that.
Yeah.
Then that's a coincidence, but then that's the Force.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's any doubt that she's got something to do with Luke. If either she was a Padawan when she was really young, or she's related, or something, right? There's a reason that when Kylo Ren went nuts, coincidentally, that's when she got dropped off on a planet. So there's something going on there, and she's obviously got Force powers. So I hope her parents end up being someone Force people, but not, because there was a prequel book that's in canon now about that one Jedi that has that face paint, and he was a good Jedi, but he was on the edge. He was on the edge turning evil because he was always undercover. And then remember Ventress I don't know if you ever watched the cartoons. Ventress was the bald Sith girl, and they got together and they actually got it on. So maybe that they can say that somewhere along the way they had a child and it was Rey. That'd be cool. I'd like it not to be Luke's daughter. That's the only thing I really don't want it to be.
Luke's daughter, I could understand two people with Force and a familial connection would be drawn to each other. It would fly in the face of what we've been told. The narrator of her mind said that her parents left her on that planet and left her with someone or something. If it turns out that if it was Luke,
why would he just leave his daughter?
Yeah,
he's an asshole then.
I don't understand it. She remembers the ship flying away. She remembers, but she doesn't remember what her parents looked like.
Yeah, that's strange.
And is that just to keep the illusion that?
Well, she literally doesn't remember who left her. She assumes it's her parents, but she never says that. She always says, "I'm waiting for people to return." She never says her parents. So It could be. I think it might be maybe a suggestion. You stay here, stay safe. We'll be back, kind of thing. And whoever's dropped her there got stopped from coming back. So she's always had this suggestion of stay here, be safe, And only with her Force Awakening was she able to break past that suggestion, maybe? Because it was pathological that she always had to get back to that planet. That wasn't just like, oh, they might come back. It was more like, I have to get back there. Like, I've been away too long. Like, it was strange how pathological it was.
She got offered a job and she was going to be a pilot.
And she wanted to take it, and then she turned, right?
I have to go back. I have to be back. So maybe you're right. Maybe the unreliable narrator isn't just to be a douche. It isn't just like a cheap.
That's literally what she remembers.
Trick. It might turn out that, well, why wouldn't I remember? I was what? I was 8 when you left. I should remember what my parents looked like. I should remember intimate details about how we, how all the things that we went through. Like, why can't I remember those things? Because I did this with my hand.
Yeah.
Oh, now that I've got the Force and I'm understanding it, yeah, you did. You gave me the old hand in front of the face thing, and
maybe that's how she knew how to do that to the guard too. She'd never seen anybody do the Force suggestion, but she somehow knew how to do it, right? Because she didn't just naturally do it. She knew what she was doing. She was like, "You're gonna come over here and you're gonna do this." It's not like she was like, "Hey, let me out, please," and all of a sudden he was like, "Yes, I'll let you out." It wasn't like she stumbled into it. She purposely tried to force manipulate.
Yeah,
So she'd seen it somewhere before.
She made an attempt to do that and it wasn't. She made an attempt to convince him. It wasn't, hey, I want to convince him, and the Force took over. Like, it was very specific.
Yeah.
Now, you're right. I don't think she saw anyone do it. Maybe she heard rumors, that Jedi were...
But the only Jedi she'd ever heard of was Luke, and she thought he was a myth. So
which is crazy. There's something wrong there, and I hope they explain...
It was the same with the same thing happened with the original trilogy. Because they never knew about the Jedi, even though, well, I guess retroactively it was an issue because it was only like 20 years before the whole world was covered in, the whole universe was covered in Jedi. They were the policemen. But yet because remember Tarkin was like, or one of them was like, your
ancient religion, you put too much faith in your ancient religion.
But meanwhile, it just happened. So time works differently in the Star Wars universe.
No, that was just poorly written, no continuity when they decided to make the prequels. That lands squarely on Lucas's inability to write a coherent script.
Although this does make sense in this one, where the Empire controls everything, it makes sense that they could erase history, right? They could erase the existence out of people's minds, like just by changing what happened. And all the kids were taught in school, no, that never happened, kind of thing. I'm sure it happens nowadays in various countries where, certain things are just erased, even though your parents remember how it really should have been. You've been told one way so long that you just don't, your parents might be saying, oh yeah, there used to be Jedi all the time. And you're just like, oh, it's a myth because my parents are telling me this myth about Jedi. No, really, we've seen them.
Could be like North Korea where they just
that's what I was thinking.
Mass indoctrination, and it could be.
It makes sense that they could between this. White. Yeah, I think it's more just indoctrination where it's just you get taught that it's just not real and that they were the bad guys, kind of thing. I also like how she's like, no, the famous smuggler Han Solo, where Finn had heard him as the famous rebel. It makes sense. Finn was probably
rather than say like, oh, he was, that existed. Oh, that was real. All these like wide-eyed, like,
yeah.
I'd have preferred if she'd went, yeah, I heard he's a real cunt. Yeah. Oh no, the Jedi. Well, weren't they like the scoundrels? Weren't they the worst of the worst?
Yeah.
That's what everyone knows that's a fact.
Or you think of them like we think of like the Khmer Rouge or someone where it's like I don't exactly know what they did, but I know they're bad guys. Like.
Like
that
if someone
kind of
came up to me and went, hey, you know what? I think you're related to Hitler. Do you want to go find him? This here weapon is what he used to do all the things that you've heard him do. I'd be like,
Well, you'd be like, yeah, okay. But normal humans would be like, no.
Yeah, like you would actually like pause for a second rather than, did they exist?
Yeah. Well, once again, though, I think she knows Jedis exist. It was just erased from her memory. So it's like, even if she doesn't remember it, it's subconsciously she trusts Jedis because she already knows, it's still in there. Luke, she knows of Luke, but she doesn't remember. I think it's subconsciously she knows that. But it also might explain why she was so hesitant to take up the lightsaber, too. Maybe that was part of her Force push, like... You stay safe. Don't act like a Jedi. Don't use your powers. So that was why she resisted at first using her powers and taking up like why didn't she take the lightsaber? She was afraid to take the lightsaber. Meanwhile, Finn's like, yeah, I'll take that thing.
When she did pick it up, and it
was to save Finn's life.
Yeah, it was. Then at that point, the conditioning was there.
She'd broken it down enough. Yeah.
She had also now harnessed a lot of the powers and probably is so filled with midichlorians that is so strong with the Force that the conditioning years and years ago are no match. She was able to best someone who was portrayed as being terrible at the Force but wanting to be a badass. She bested someone who was terrible at the Force, but she had no training, no nothing, which tells you, like, you can either complain and go, well, that makes no sense, or you can go, like, why is that?
It's because she's naturally good at it, and he's naturally bad at it, even though he works hard to be good at it.
He works as hard as, like, you can work your ass off to be good at sports, but some guy who comes up and is
just naturally gifted,
a naturally gifted person is going to dominate you.
It's any skill, that's true. Like, you could want to be a great artist or a great singer or something, but then there's just some person who comes along and just effortlessly destroys you.
And that's why Kylo Ren was such a whiny, tantrum-having bitch, because he knew it in his heart. He was never going to be as good as Darth Vader. Never.
Yeah. Well, that's his whole thing, right? But then, we'll see if he can break on through.
Works, no matter what he does for Snoke, whatever, he will never be great at the Force. He's just passable.
Yeah, and he's got more Han in them than Leia.
And he's gonna be pissed.
Well, even Leia's not great at the Force. She's got some abilities, but she's not, she's no Luke.
No, she has some sort of like, oh, I feel this, I feel that, but unless
Luke
start Force choking a bitch, like, hey, Akbar, get over here. Oh my God.
Yeah, Luke was always good at, even when he was bad at things, he always could do it. He just had to get confidence, where she just never had the natural ability, I don't think, as heavily. Or she just goes in a different way. She's more, like, say, emotional or,
Or she's secretly
she's what's his name?
Snoke.
She's Snoke, yeah. You gotta admit, they look kind of similar. But
Well, I just found it odd that she said, "Go bring our son home," and Han was like, "He's lost."
Yeah, he's fucked.
But she guilted him into it, and then Snoke
She set him up.
said to Kylo Ren, "Go get your father." Like
She said it both ways. Wouldn't that be hilarious if she was Snoke?
Walked towards each other, and it just after I'm thinking, she just said, "Han, go get our son," and Snoke said, "Hey, go get your dad," and this is what happened.
She set it up, yeah.
But that's just crazy, Todd. No, that's...
Well, the whole time they're like, "Oh, Luke Snoke." No, it's Leia who's Snoke. Because it's just a projection. It could be anybody. I think maybe it's Akbar. Maybe Akbar's Snoke.
When I first saw Snoke, I thought, okay, it's a projection. And I thought, what if it is that Darth Plagueis guy?
Uh-huh.
And the way he, lived, defied death, the way Palpatine had said, he became a Force ghost.
Oh, and now that isn't a projection, it's just a Force ghost?
And that's what I was thinking during
It looks the same, it's the same color. They're both bluish.
It would be not funny, it would be interesting if eventually they're like, well, the holograph projector. Like, no, that's not a holograph projector, that's just him. But you're right, anything could be projected there. It's like having a avatar or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be her just sitting on a sofa somewhere in her
That'd be crazy. If they did that, I'd be so impressed.
Her in her slave Leia outfit just reflect.
Oh, maybe not. Well, there you go.
Well, and you know what? Being a sex slave to a Hutt, you couldn't blame her. You'd be like, you know what? If that's all you've done is just join the dark side and decide to bring order to the universe, I think that's acceptable. People would have to. That's a gimme, I think, at that point.
And notice that the Republic was only destroyed after they refused to help her go after the First Order. They refused to get involved with the war, so she set up this resistance to keep the war going, because that seeds chaos. And then when they refused to help her by sending ships, they destroyed them.
All the ships were destroyed in one salvo.
Yeah, she was just like, "Oh, you're not going to help? You're not going to be part of this war? You're not going to be in the war at all." Boom.
And then anyone who goes, well, all these nameless, why didn't they mention any of the original planets? Coruscant, or any of these things. Why wouldn't they demand that they destroy those planets? Well, because they're not expendable planets.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't want to destroy some planets. Some system that we'd never heard of?
Yeah, they started on this neutral system out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, bye-bye. Or it's probably her suggestion. She probably, when she was still a senator, she's probably pretty high up. Where should we start our new thing? Coruscant? It's got all this stuff there. No, let's start fresh. Let's go to this Hosian system, way out in the middle of nowhere. Conveniently lined up, so when I shoot, it's a really good location.
And then none of my friends and family are killed.
Yep, because it's all about control. I think we figured it out. The Darth Leia.
Oh.
It makes so much sense. Darth Leia. Well, there you go. I think we just talked out filler.
It's possible. It's possible. It was some rambling nonsense, but it's possible.
Yes. So it should fit right in on the internets. I like lamp. You know what else I like?
I'm thinking that there's some sort of copyright on just saying I like lamp.
I like scatological porn.
Oh,
that escalated quickly.
That escalated quickly 100% of the time.
VinlandOldTimeRadio.podbean.com. Ripping off Anchorman whenever we can.
Ooh, that rhymes. Trademark.